Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Hey, how's it going? Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. The Hawks pick up a tank win, losing 4-2 in Anaheim to the Ducks. We're going to get to all that. We're going to get to the Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty trades. We've got our king of the game. We've got our fourth stars of the game. We've got our Tankathon update and everything as the show goes on. Make sure you smash that like button on the YouTube page and be sure you're subscribed. If you're a podcast listener, thank you. Make sure you are subscribed or following us there as well. And leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would go a long, long way. So the Hawks fellas lose this game 4-2, like we said, right off the bat. And this is two very not good teams going at it. And I was talking to my cousin who is a big-time user of DraftKings, let's put it that way. And he was sort of looking for a scoop on betting this game. And I said, buddy, I'm going to send you the lines of the Blackhawks and tell me if this is a game you want to bet.
Yeah, right.
I said, if you want to bet that the Ducks would win because they have actual NHL players of value. And that's how it went. The Ducks starred, and they took over. There it is.
Yeah, this was as close to a full-on tank lineup as I think we've seen all season.
Yeah.
And I mean, for everyone that's worried about the games in hand and too many wins and too many points, look at the team that this Blackhawks group is going to ice for the final 25 games of the year.
Not great, Bob.
It's going to be just fine, everyone.
Should we list the lines for those that
top line winger Brent Cini
in the NHL, Max Domi and Andreas Athanasiou. That's your top line. Tyler Johnson, Cole Gutman, Taylor Radish is your second line. Colin Blackwell, Jason Dickinson, and David Gus your third, and Boris Kachuk, Jujar Kara, and Joey Anderson is your fourth line. That is a roster designed to lose.
Those are 4 fourth lines,
and at least one of those top guys is going to be gone by the end of the week. You'd think at least Tomi or Athanasiou is going to be traded before it's all said and done.
If not both.
Oof. Yeah, buddy.
and did you want to go with the defensive pairings as well?
Yeah,
those were wonderful.
You had the Jones brothers, not the Jonas brothers, but the Jones brothers is your top pair.
Yeah.
Jared Tenorti and Connor Murphy, your second pair, and Andreas Englund and Ian Mitchell, your third pair.
Yeah.
Hey, though, I thought Englund looked pretty good.
You know what? He didn't. He took advantage of the opportunity of being able to get some quality NHL minutes that I think he was getting pushed out of the lineup in Colorado, and so he's going to make the most of the opportunity. That's really all that these guys that are going to be coming in can really do. Guys like Joey Anderson, guys like Andreas Englund, like, they're getting opportunities to play minutes that they weren't getting elsewhere, so you want to see them come in and make the most of it. Englund did. Joey Anderson, not so much, but give him.
He's here for 10 minutes.
Give him some leeway. Yeah, he
came wearing his Toronto Marlies.
Yeah, he got off the plane and walked right into the dressing room and played a hockey game. So yeah, you give him a little pass. But hey, this is the tank. If you weren't aware of it yet, it is fully here now.
Yeah. Reached out to our buddy Jesse Montano from DNVR Avalanche yesterday after the trade went down and asked for a scouting report. He says, big, plays real heavy, not afraid to fight, decent instincts in the offensive zone. He was a totally serviceable third-pairing guy for the Avs, which makes him a totally serviceable top 6 for the Blackhawks for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, look, if you look at his stat line in this one, wearing number 28 to the disgust of many Hawks fans, 17:05 of ice time, 4 shots on goal, another shot attempt, a hit, and 2 blocked shots.
Apparently a career high in shots on goal. So there you go.
That does not look like a guy who was playing with his new team for the first time.
Yeah, and he was mixing it up too. He was getting in guys' faces, and that's something that you can do in your first game to kind of endear yourself to your new teammates. Is like make yourself, make your presence known. So good on him for doing that.
I know, people don't like to come to losing situations, right? Like, it's always kind of a bummer when you get traded from a contender to a bad team. But you got to wonder if there's some element for guys like Englund who look at this as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to play a lot more here than I was going to do in Colorado, and I'm a free agent this summer. Maybe I play great for these last 30 games or so and really make an impression, and maybe the Hawks give me a new deal, or maybe I catch the eye of a scout somewhere else in the league. It's a big opportunity rather than just being the last guy on a cup contender. Now you're a guy he's got a little bit of spotlight on him because he's a new guy, so people are keeping an eye on him. And, hey, for one game, really solid. And we looked at the blue lines, right? Mm-hmm. And he was the second best Blackhawk according to the metrics, behind only Max Domi. So welcome to the team, Andreas Englund.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. I had zero expectations for him.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest with you, didn't know he existed until yesterday. So I'm not a guy that I don't watch a lot of Colorado Eagle AHL games.
No, you're missing out.
Apparently, but it was a nice debut. He was noticeable, and I guess in a good way. And when you're a defenseman, that's really all you can ask for. And
Yeah.
He's going to be a guy that makes the most of an opportunity. Joey Anderson, the other new guy, not a great night, but you can't really. The dude woke up literally getting ready to play the Rockford Ice Hogs today, who are in Toronto taking on the Marlies.
And then in the afternoon.
Then, he probably took morning skate for the Toronto Marlies.
I'm sure, yeah.
And then he gets on a plane to fly all the way across the continent.
Right.
So, Joey, Joey Anderson, I think I wouldn't call him a prospect by any means, but he's a guy that, Mario, you mentioned it earlier today on our emergency podcast while I was dealing with an actual emergency.
Yes.
Yeah. You had more emergencies than we did.
Yes. You said that he could be, if he tops out, he could be this year's version of Taylor Radish.
Yeah.
Which could be a guy that...
That'd be nice.
I mean, they got two guys. We'll get into it, but he's a guy that was not going to get an opportunity in Toronto. Not on that roster. He's going to get an opportunity here. Let's see what he does. England's a guy, another guy. Wasn't going to get much of an opportunity playing in Colorado, especially at defense. They've got some good defensemen, I hear, out there, as long as they stay healthy. So he's going to get an opportunity to play here down the stretch. Make the most of it. You don't have to be superstars.
Yeah.
But just make an impression. I mean, you're playing for your hockey future. So let's see what you got.
If either of them get a second contract with the Blackhawks, that's a win for the team.
Yeah.
And a win for them.
Yep.
Because like you said, there's really no expectations on them right now other than, hey, maybe turn yourself into something. So we'll see what happens.
Got a question in the chat from Eric. Says, what if Kyle Davidson makes all these moves and the team stays mediocre or bad? Well, he could have made none of the moves and they'd still be mediocre or bad.
Yeah.
Look at last year's team.
If they make all these moves and then stays mediocre or bad?
I think he just means, what if the rebuild doesn't work?
Rebuild doesn't work.
Oh.
Well, then you're right back where you were when he took over. So no harm, no foul.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, look, if you look at just what the prospect experts have said about this Blackhawks draft class, the expectation is that Korchinski and Nazar are pretty much sure things. We know that Lucas Reichel is a surefire NHL player, maybe not a perennial all-star,
but
but a top 6 guy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So you've already got Korchinski, Nazar, Reichel as part of your future. Kurashev is a guy who we know they want back. So there's another young forward. You've seen what Gutman can do. You've seen what Gus can do.
Ethan Del Mastro.
Yeah.
You got Wyatt Kaiser.
Guys like
there's a lot of
Ryan Green.
There's a lot of guys
Jalen
in the system that in the next 2 years, 3 years should start making NHL impacts. And yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I saw a lot of people today online saying oh, they're not going to make the playoffs till 2030 and all this stuff. It's going to be, if I'm 40 and they haven't played a playoff game since 2015 or 2017, I'm going to be very shocked by that because I think the next wave that's coming through is very talented. And if they hit their if they hit their paths on their projections, there will be very meaningful games in Chicago far sooner than that.
Keep in mind, too, whoever they draft this draft, whether it's Bedard or Fantilli or Leo Carlson or Matvei Michkov, whoever that is going to be their top prospect automatically.
Yeah.
Like from the second the pick is made, that's going to be the top prospect. And they've got another first-round pick this year so far, 2 second-round pick. Like they're just loaded up with these assets.
What is it? 17 picks in the next 3 first.
In the next 3 years,
17 picks in the top 3 rounds, the next 3 drafts.
Yeah.
So
6 firsts, 6 seconds, and 5 thirds.
So we could talk about the guys that are already there that have made them go from 25th to 5th in one draft class.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're going to add potentially 17 first 3-round picks over the next 3 years. And Kyle Davidson even said today, like, yeah, we may pick those, or that could be currency to go get guys. Like, he has got plenty of ammunition to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And time will tell if he's picking the right guys. But so far, so good. These guys are looking like they've got, his first draft class was very impressive. And they looking like, Nazar and Korchinski, 2 out of your 3 first-round picks are like guys that we're going to see in the NHL sooner rather than later. And maybe your 3rd pick, Sam Rinzel, if he hits his ceiling, that's going to be another guy that nobody really talks about right now. So there is a lot to be excited for. And we have a general manager that has a real vision into the future.
Yeah.
And will it work? We don't know. We'll find out. But it's off to an encouraging start.
Well, when you think about, too, like, the moves that he has made, when you look at, we already talked about the draft picks that he's made, but you look at, like, the trades he's made, getting Alex Nylander, or getting Sam Lafferty for Alex Nylander, then basically turning Lafferty into a second-round pick. You bring in, you sign Cole Guttman. It didn't work out for him in Tampa, so you pick him up as a free agent, and he comes in and makes an impression right away. Like, the moves he's made have actually worked out pretty well. I mean, he's not trying to win right now, so it's kind of hard to tell, like, exactly how guys are going to be. But I didn't see anyone he's brought in that's been a complete disaster. Like, even if you look at the free agents, like, Max Domi's come in and done everything you want him to do and more.
Yep.
Athanasiou, but you kind of knew. When you signed him,
you knew
it's
going to
be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
The things he's done have worked out pretty well, I thought. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think there is reason for optimism, and of course, no rebuild is guaranteed. But when you look at the position that Kyle Davidson was left in, there's no other choice to do what he's doing. Yeah. And we're going to hear from him. He met the media after the morning skate. We're going to hear from Kyle Davidson later in the show. I think it's pertinent, especially considering the time of year we're at here with more moves to potentially come.
Yeah. So there's a couple guys have mentioned in the chat. It sounds like Colin Blackwell is going to be out for a little while. A quote Mrazek-esque groin pull.
Yeah.
So,
Luke Richardson said that Blackwell will be out for a while.
Yep.
So groin injury. So that's not good.
There's another roster spot.
It's tough for Blackwell.
They won't be calling up Lucas Reichel because that's not a top 6 position needing to be filled.
Yes, but also, put all these players in a blender and you can make any line combination you want because it doesn't. No, there no longer is a top 6 on this team.
There's
honestly.
No reason to have numbered lines.
No,
this is the line we put first.
Line A, line
sheet.
B, line C.
Yeah, they're just lines.
Yeah,
I'm on a Blackhawk line because they're and in a couple days it's going to be even more just meh. With
no Taze, no Kane, no Domi. Khrushchev, he was out with the illness, but like with none of those guys in, it doesn't matter. You just put 3 guys out there at a time, see what happens.
Yeah, see what you got. Exactly. Thank you, James Coogan, for mentioning our guy, Samuel Savoie. More my guy than our guy.
It's your guy.
Taking him.
It's your guy.
53 points in 49 games. He did the gritty. I saw him hit the gritty. Saw him mixing it up. Love this kid.
He did another Sully. Oh, he did the Perlini with the fingers in the ears the other night.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got some swag. I like him.
Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah,
Hawks it's a couple years down the road.
If that kid becomes a regular NHLer, Hawks fans are going to adore him. They should just give him number 65 right now.
He'll be a fan favorite.
And by the way, Ryan says the Hawks will need a few key free agents, a lot like what happened with Hossa.
For sure.
That's true. They've got nothing but cap space, and I think this is a good time to share what Jack Johnson had to say today about Kyle Davidson. This is a quote from Ryan Bolding, who covers the Avalanche out in Colorado for NHL.com and Mile High Sports. Jack Johnson says, quote, "No, I never asked for a trade. The GM in Chicago, Kyle Davidson, he was unbelievable with his communication with me. He said there's an opportunity to come back to Colorado, and he said he'd like to help do that for me. Like I said, I have nothing but unreal things to say about Chicago, players, management, coaches, everyone. I had such a great experience with them. The GMs were the ones that made that happen. I never asked for anything." So this sort of stuff, when a guy like Jack Johnson, who, say what you want about him as a player, has the respect of every player in the NHL. He's a veteran. He's a winner. Everyone knows and likes Jack Johnson. You saw what Max Domi had to say about him when that deal was made. Guys see that and guys hear that, and that message gets around.
Yeah.
And I always kind of cringe when I say the Hawks treat their players real well, because then the little Kyle Beach on my shoulder pops up.
Right, yeah.
But this is a different regime, and this is very similar. We've heard a lot of stuff like this about Kyle Davidson, where it's not just about, I'm just going to, like when you look at the Dylan Strome thing and the Calvin DeHaan thing, like, I'm not just going to trade you to trade you. Right? If it makes sense for us, we'll do it, but we're not just going to force it, which makes me think, like, maybe Max Domi doesn't get traded. Maybe they find there's value in keeping him here. I don't know. There's so many things that can happen and could happen.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that the reputation of this new regime is really been positive from guys in and out of the organization.
Yeah, doing right by veteran players goes a long way in this league. All these players, they all talk to each other.
Yeah.
So, that can go a long way, and the point of they'll need some key free agents before it's all said and done. That's 100% true, and stuff like that will help them. And having a good young up-and-coming team with some exciting young players is going to hurt too. Is going to help too.
Yeah.
That's the entire reason Marian Hossa came here, because he was like, "Ooh, they're just about there. They are me away from winning the Stanley Cup."
I mean, Hossa was cup hunting.
Yeah.
It was Pittsburgh. It was Detroit. And he missed out both times. And then he's like, well, all right, Chicago's going to be the next hot team. And he was right.
I mean, but guys are going to see, if it's Bedard or Fantilli or whoever it is this year is your top prospect, and that kid comes in here and starts producing, and then Korchinski and Nazar and maybe Colton Dock and some of your other defensive, all these guys start coming over the next 2, 3, 4 years when it's time to get the free agents, and a guy like Luke Richardson, if he's still your coach, which I don't see it.
Sure he will
look
be.
how hard this team competed tonight. If that doesn't get you excited for what Luke Richardson's going to do when he actually has a real freaking roster, guys are going to want to play for him.
Yep.
Guys are going to want to hopefully play for a guy like Kyle Davidson, who is taking care of his players. And then you bring in some young, exciting players. This could turn out to be, once again, a destination. And those first batch of key free agents are going to get paid because the Blackhawks will have the money to get that first. Kind of like that, that Christopher Huey, Brian Campbell, that was the year before Hossa.
Right.
And that was like, holy crap, look what the Hawks are doing. They never do this. And then it was like, all right, they became the destination because they were willing to spend money on big free agents because they could, and they had that young team that everybody in the league could see was almost there.
Yeah, the summer going into the 2024-25 season is the next upcoming free agent class that's really going to potentially have a lot of players to really kind of fawn over, and it'll be interesting to see where Davidson goes, because that's going to be now probably 2 years through quote unquote tanking, and you'd like to hope that Bedard is part of the team in next season and going into his second year, going into that 2024-25 season. So it'll be interesting to see what Davidson's strategy is for that off season, because that's going to be kind of like, at least in my view, that's kind of like the first year where the upswing could maybe start coming. But not only free agents, but trade pieces as well, like guys that Davidson can acquire over the years, I think is going to be really important too. And that's why I think, like, when we looked at the trade today, you know, the 2025 first that they got from Toronto, the 2026 second round pick, which I didn't even know you could trade that far ahead. But, you know, those picks down the line, yeah, maybe they end up being picks, but they could also end up being at the 2025 draft. You throw in that Toronto first round pick and becomes player X. That is a key factor in the future of the team beyond that year. So, you know, free agents, the trade market, there's a lot of ways that this team can add pieces outside of already the bolstering up their prospect system. So rebuilding is way more than just draft picks. Even though they're nice, it's way more than that.
Back on like the free agency thing, when it becomes time, Sam Lafferty sent a text message to the Hawks social media person and said, I want to share this message.
Yeah, this was cool.
So this is from Sam Lafferty. He says, I want to thank the Blackhawks for these last 2 seasons. When I was traded here, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm grateful for everything that's happened since then. The team gave me an opportunity to play. The fans at United Center were incredible, and my teammates have become great friends. I'm going to miss it, but I'm very excited for what's ahead. I loved my time in Chicago, and I wish this team and the fan base all the best. That is the sentiment of everyone who's played here. Everybody, guys love playing in Chicago, win or lose. They're like, for Max Domi to publicly say, like, yeah, sign me up for more of this. Really?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that. I think that's significant. A couple people are writing about the potential return for Patrick Kane. I know Charlie Roumeliotis said tonight, like it would be maybe just a second round pick and that's it. That would surprise me.
That'd be very surprising.
A little bit. I was talking to an agent tonight who thought that the return would be similar to what the Flyers got for Claude Giroux from the Panthers, which was Owen Tippett and a first-round pick.
And a third-round
pick. And then the Panthers also sent some pieces back the other way. Yeah.
There were a couple.
The Flyers sent an extra like late round pick or something.
Prospect-y guys.
I would be surprised if you get that much for Kane, but I think it's going to be more than just a second. Look, there is pressure on the Rangers to get Kane now, to get this deal done.
Especially since the Devils just got Timo Meier.
Yeah, I just don't think
everybody has expected this trade to be done, so now there is a little pressure on Chris Drury. He can't completely lowball it because Kyle Davis is say, no thanks.
That's right.
And you're the guy that screwed up this sure deal, and now you got to tell your fans who are already buying Patrick Kane Rangers jerseys.
Yeah.
Putz. And now that guy wasted his $200, and
he's not the only one
because Chris Drury didn't want. So there's some pressure on him now.
Yeah,
if it's just a second round pick, I'd be surprised if they get what the Flyers got for Claude Giroux. Sign me up.
Yeah, sign me
up. Owen
for that.
Tippett's been a really good
NHL
player today. Yeah. If it's a first round pick, even if it's next year, I'm good with that. But we'll see. I mean, we probably have to wait till Friday. It sounds like it because each passing day gives.
Some have said as early as tomorrow, but
I think they can do it as early as tomorrow. But I think Friday would probably be when we actually see it happen, and preferably if you're listening, Kyle Davidson. We know lots of people on Madison listen. 1:02 p.m. would be a great time to make that official
on Friday.
We will be on the air for 2 hours Friday from 1 through the actual deadline. So, 2 o'clock is the deadline. So we'll be on for the last hour of the deadline and then an hour after as all those late things trickle through.
Yeah.
So 1:02 p.m. on Friday would be ideal, please.
And there's some pressure on Chris Drury and the Rangers too, because all the maneuvering that they've had to do with the cap situation, it's been very, very clear what they're trying to do, how much money they're trying to afford, and who they're doing it for. And they played a game the other night where they were short skaters. So it's like you're making sacrifices in real games that matter for in the standings to get Patrick Kane. And if you don't end up getting him
because you lowball him,
because you say, well, I think I have all the leverage, so screw you. Here's a future second, and Davidson could say, well, that's not worth it. Then it's on Drury to say, you have to come up and make the deal. So there is pressure on him, and if it falls through, then Hey, I think the ball is clearly in the Rangers' court, since Patrick Kane has made it very clear that he wants to go to New York and New York only. And Kyle Davidson, like if this was still a back and forth of trying to get something done, I think Kane is still with the team. The fact that he's back here in Chicago and doing off ice or doing on ice workouts away from the team, the deal is all but done. It's just when it's going to be made official. So I hope that all of that has been worth it for the Rangers to do all that finagling to get Kane in, and I hope it's made worthwhile on the Blackhawks side. It's going to be it's kind of been a slow burn of the acceptance of this trade coming. Since it's kind of the writing's been on the wall the last couple of days, but it's still, once it's made official, whether it's tomorrow, Wednesday, Friday at 1:02, whatever it is, it's still going to sting. But I think it's kind of knowing it's coming, knowing the path that it's gone down. It's made it a little bit easier to be like, all right, let's get it. Let's rip the Band-Aid off.
I think everybody is ready for it to just be over and done with at this point. Even the biggest Patrick Kane fans that want him here forever are ready to be like, okay, let's do it. And no, I really don't think Davidson would walk away, but you got to at least threaten to play that card.
Yeah.
You have to at least bluff.
Don't insult me.
Yeah, I know. I don't think he pulls the plug on this trade, but he at least has to make Chris Drury think that he may. So it's going to be a game of chicken, and we'll see. I mean,
it's his biggest deal as a GM. So
right,
it's not one to stumble over for sure.
Well, by the way, the Rangers play Wednesday and Thursday, so they play the Flyers Wednesday night, the Senators Thursday night. So if they can make it happen Wednesday, maybe it's Wednesday at 12:01 a.m. or something like that, so they can get Kane over there and get him in the lineup against Philly. But we'll see. You mentioned it's his biggest deal. I will say, if I have one small criticism of Kyle Davidson, or I think it's a valid criticism, is the bigger the names he's traded, the lower the return has been. He hasn't gotten a ton for DeBrincat. I think we're going to get into the McCabe and Lafferty trade. I would say a little less than we were expecting, maybe, when we were going to look at the collective of what those two would bring back.
And a little less than I think some people in Toronto thought they would have to give up.
Yeah, so... And if the rumors are, and I'll say this too, I think a lot of the people who are taking stabs at the return are guessing. I have spoken to people inside the organization that don't know what the deal is yet, specifically. So I would be surprised if people like us have the specifics. I think a lot of people are just kind of guessing.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of guessing this trade season and been wrong a lot more than we've been right. So it's the risk you take. That's why I don't like to deal much in rumors a lot, because you're wrong a lot more than you're right.
Well, it's rare when someone says, like, everyone's saying, like, the deal's in place, they're just waiting. If that was the case, we
know
would
what
know
it
the
is.
details by now.
It would be out by now.
Someone would have specifics by now, and there's no specifics yet.
Right. Which means I think there's a framework, this or this or, but yeah, you're right. If there were if it was done and they're just waiting for the whatever time they can make it done so they fit it, somebody would have that out there.
Lebowski 5 has a super chat, $5. Thank you. He says, do you think the Hawks will sign any big free agents like when they signed a Coin and LaPointe, or wait until they're ready to contend? I think you're going to see a lot of more Max Domi, Athanasiou, those types, like guys kind of looking for a second chance, want to bet on themselves. Those are the perfect kind of deals.
This year's free agents class is not good.
Yeah, it's not.
It's exciting. Not good. There's nobody in this free agency class that you're really going to be like, that's a guy.
Well, someone asked about Dylan Larkin earlier, but I
don't see him leaving Detroit. I don't see that happening.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I don't see it happening.
No, if Detroit's trying to continue to try and pry their window open that they thought they threw open this year, which they didn't. You kind of need a guy like him to stay around.
You're not letting your leading scorer, captain, Michigan boy leave.
Yeah,
it's tough. Steve Yzerman being Steve Yzerman. He did this with Steven Stamkos.
Yeah, right.
And what happened? He came back. So I would be shocked if Dylan Larkin goes anywhere else.
And I think free agency. I think that you're going to see a couple of guys that are like, oh, maybe here to be flipped again, or there's a lot of money that can be spent by the Blackhawks this summer. I wonder if they take a stab in the RFA market and offer sheet somebody, and just be like, hey, like they have the room.
That'd be fun.
They have the draft capital for some of those things. So
I'm a big fan of the offer sheets. We need more of them.
Real quick, Windy City Hockey says the Tanner Jeannot trade should have raised the value of McCabe and Lafferty. It didn't really do that. The rest of the league should not be responsible for the stupidity of another GM.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone got excited, like, whoa, that's what they got for Tanner Jeannot. Everyone's like, why would you give up that much for Tanner Jeannot? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when you talk about like setting the market when big free agents sign or big names are traded, that's a whole other stratosphere. That's just Tampa doing their Tampa thing, where they did the same thing for Brandon Hagel. We all love Brandon Hagel. They overpaid for Brandon Hagel.
Yeah.
They did. They super overpaid for Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they overpaid for Barclay Goodrow. Those types of guys, but they need those guys.
Sure.
And they've been winning with them.
Yeah, if they win a cup, it's worth it. But
eventually they're going to stop winning, and their superstars are going to be old and not be their superstars anymore, and they're going to have new young players to replace them.
All right, let's do our
They'll just
things
buy
for
their
this
team.
game. Let's do our 4 stars of the game, and we'll do our DraftKings King of the game. Then we'll take a break, and we'll really get into the Lafferty McCabe trade. So let's do our 4 stars of the game here.
All right. I forgot who I picked again.
All right, your 3 stars of the game. your number 3 star for the Anaheim Ducks, the ageless Cam Fowler. He is +2 with 6 shot attempts. Your number 2 star was Troy Terry, a goal, an assist, and +2. And your number 1 star for the Ducks, Mason McTavish, 3 assists, +3, 4 shots on goal. You might be able to guess my 4 star of the game. Picked him before he was the toast of the game, by the way, by Patrick Sharp.
There you go.
Andreas England gets mine. His Hawks debut, 17:05 of ice time, 4 shots, another shot attempt, a hit, and 2 block shots. Really solid debut for a guy playing with a completely new defensive partner. I defined defense and partner and got defart. Defensive partner. Really solid showing for him. So encouraging through 1 game for Andreas England.
Yeah. Yeah, not a bad debut.
Yes, and he has got a gigantic neck.
He does.
Yeah.
Check out his media
elite.
guide picture. It's like, holy shnikes.
Elite neck.
Yeah,
It's like, what's his name? Mike Glennon with muscles.
yeah, if Mike Glennon's neck worked out. I'm going to go with David Gust, who was our king of the game last game, but he followed it up with a nice little game. Second game, got his first trip to an NHL penalty box, so
Hey,
there
nice.
goes the Lady Bing. But otherwise, he was tied for the team lead with 4 shots on goal. He was active, made a couple defensive plays through the night. So, talk about a guy that's making the most of his opportunity. He's been doing that all season long in Rockford. We heard about it yesterday, he thought about walking away from the game, and he's making the best of it. He's got himself a 2-way deal for this year and the rest of next year. He's going to go back down to Rockford and be a leader on a team that hopefully has a long playoff run. So good for David Gust.
Yep.
Yeah, happy for him, absolutely. My 4 star of the night, and man, I actually had to think about it for once. Couldn't just default to Jake McCabe, and I can't anymore, unfortunately. But this one was pretty easy for me. Max Domi, this is his team for the time being.
For the next 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, he's making the most of it. He like you said, Jay, he has done everything that anyone could have expected from him out of his time in Chicago, and he came here on a 1-year deal, very flippable situation, even though Kyle Davidson says that that's not why he was signed here. Okay. But he had 2 assists tonight. He is definitely continuing the hot streak that he's had while playing with Patrick Kane. When Patrick Kane decided to turn it on, Max Domi has continued that, helping himself. Look, like we talked about it a little bit on today's instant reaction emergency podcast. We've talked a little bit about it throughout the week, but like if Domi ends up being a guy that doesn't get traded at this deadline and does sign an extension with the Blackhawks, I'm totally fine with that because I don't think he's done anything to say that he shouldn't have a place with this team if he wants to have it. He's said that he liked playing for Kyle Davidson or for Luke Richardson, and that's why he wanted to come to Chicago. And he's said multiple times, like, I like it here. Like, I would want to keep playing here. So if he wants to do that, if he says, sign me up for this, whatever's next, and Davidson doesn't get the assets that he sets the market for Domi on his own end and says that I don't have to trade him, I'm totally fine with that. So yeah, I think there's some good things that Max Domi has brought to the team this year, and I think he can continue to bring to them.
All right, that brings us to our DraftKings King of the Game. And it is good old number 90, Tyler Johnson. 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 shots on goal, and 19:45 of ice time. His goal was a power play goal. Nice. He's really played well lately. Some people I saw in the chat were mentioning him as a potential trade piece. $5 million for the next 2 years.
Next year.
Pretty unlikely. Next year, definitely.
Next year, if he's been healthy and producing, he will be a nice little trade target.
Yeah, it would surprise me if he moved this year.
It's so crazy how effective he can be, and you just forget about it sometimes because he's missed more games than he's played since he's been with the Blackhawks. But when he's healthy and he's going right, like, he's very effective. So
it's been so rare that we've seen him like even close to 100%.
Right.
But when he has been, like, to start the year this year, he looked great.
Yeah.
And the last handful of games, 5-6 games, he's been one of the best Hawks. Yep. The dude can play. He's been a winner his whole career. Well, except when he's in Chicago.
Both Blackhawks goals came on a power play tonight.
Yep.
It's kind of amazing how successful a power play can be when everybody's not looking to pass to one specific player.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not knocking Patrick Kane by any means necessary, but have been a lot of nights where I think he did more harm than good to the power play by just being on the power play.
Out there.
Because guys are like, oh, got to give it to Patrick Kane. Got to give it to Patrick Kane.
Sure.
And I'm sure there were many times he's getting those passes going, what the F are you guys doing?
Right, yeah.
Take the shot. He's not there tonight. They scored twice on the power play.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yep. I think you're right. All right, well, if you want to go see the Chicago debuts of Andreas Englund and Joey Anderson, maybe Nikita Zaitsev, Greg, how can our good friends get in the building?
Well, they can head over to Game Time. Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals to tickets to wherever you want to go. You want to go to a sporting event, you want to go to a rock concert, you want to go see one of those fun Broadway musicals downtown. Well, Game Time has got your hookup. If you've ever dreamed of sitting in a seat you thought you never could, like the 50-yard line, maybe you want to be courtside for a Bulls game or sit right behind the penalty box so you could yell at dudes who have cheated, you can do that with Game Time. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. You're not going to find a better deal on Blackhawks tickets for the rest of this season. Game Time is created by the fans. It's for the fans, and they guarantee the lowest price. So if you stumble across some other weird ticket website that's not Game Time and you see a ticket price lower than what you saw at Game Time, let them know, and they are going to match it. And if you love CHGO and you wouldn't be hanging out with us at 12:22 on a Tuesday if you didn't, then you're going to love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in your podcast descriptions. For those of you watching right now on YouTube, scroll down on your way to the link, smash that giant thumbs up button for us. We appreciate that. No matter where you're listening, check out the podcast description. You will see the link for Game Time and your Blackhawks tickets. So join over 15 million people who've downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats for all your favorite events. Hey, you can even get a good deal for your not so favorite events.
Yeah, crappy events. They're
Yeah,
cheap.
even if you hate it, you're going to save money.
That's a cheap ticket. I'll go to that.
Exactly. And the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future. ComEd offers a wide array of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their territory. Customers can inquire about how to upgrade outdated lighting to energy and money-saving efficient LED lights, learn more about network lighting to operate your lights through your mobile device and track your facility's energy usage, and more. Incentives have recently increased for indoor, outdoor lighting, and networked lighting controls, making these projects even more cost-effective than before. Visit ComEd.com/poweringbiz now to start saving money and energy. And to start a project, contact them at 855-433-2700. For more info, email businessee@comed.com or publicsectoree@comed.com. All right, now we move into our Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty trade portion of the show. If you missed it, the Blackhawks traded Jake McCabe and retained 50% of his contract, forward Sam Lafferty, and a 2024 fifth-round pick that's conditional, a 2025 fifth-round pick that's conditional, to Toronto for forwards Joey Anderson, Pavel Gogolev, a 2025 first-round pick, which is top 10 protected, and a 2026 second-round pick. The conditions of the pick: the Blackhawks will transfer the latest of any 2024 fifth-round pick in their possession to the Maple Leafs. In the event that Jake McCabe plays in fewer than 50% of his team's playoff games in 2022-23, that's this year, or fewer than 25% of his team's games in the 2023-24 regular season, the Blackhawks will transfer their own third-round pick in 2025 instead of their fifth-round pick in 2025. All right, confused yet?
Leg off.
Yes, there you go. There you have it.
Who comes up with these conditions?
Long story short,
Man.
McCabe and Lafferty
Lawyers.
are Leafs, and the Hawks have a first-round pick and a second-round pick to show for it.
Yeah.
If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that Jake McCabe would turn into a first-round pick and Sam Lafferty would turn into a second-round pick, granted not for this year's draft, but I would have been like, hey, that sounds really good to me. Let's make that happen. And you guys talked about it on the reaction podcast earlier today. You know, it felt, I don't want to say underwhelming. It's not underwhelming. It was a little, okay, I thought there'd be a little more. But this once again just proves that we cannot predict what NHL GMs do, what they're willing to accept. Everybody wants to say, you got to take this, you got to take this. Well, sometimes it's just not going to happen. The other guy doesn't want to give you that, so you settle on something else. Yes, it would have been great if that first-round pick was this year or even next year. But you know what? You got to have, now you got 2 draft first-round picks in 2025. Carl Davidson even said it when he was on the pregame show.
We're going to play it here in a second, too.
Yeah, he says, hey, I might trade that pick to get a guy we need.
Right.
You know, hey, an extra first-round pick, that could be the year that maybe he thinks, hey, that's the big free agent class year, and maybe we're right there, and there's a guy I really want on this team, and I'm going to give up a first-round pick to get him. You have that luxury. So, yeah, I don't want to say underwhelming or disappointing because that's not the right word.
Yeah.
That makes it seem like they got ripped off. They didn't get ripped off. I just wish there was a little bit more, but I'm not unsatisfied with what they got.
That's a good way to put it. I was hoping for maybe a prospect of a little more value.
Yeah.
You know, I know that you weren't going to get Nyes or anybody like that, but someone that you could really say, like, okay, when this team's ready to win again, this prospect could be part of things. Nothing against Joey Anderson or Pavel Gogolev, but neither of them really project to be anything great.
No, they don't seem to fit that mold.
Here's an angle about this trade, by the way. I know it's going to be painful for all of us, but it's almost guaranteed Toronto-Tampa in the first round. Mm-hmm. If Toronto can knock off Tampa, that first-round pick the Hawks got for Brandon Hagel looks a lot better.
Yeah. That would land in the teens then, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Likely?
Yeah.
Or is it based off of, like,
I think it's based on
points
regular
and
season record.
And then who's knocked out.
Round.
Yeah.
So, like, the 8 first-round guys that get knocked out in the first round are then separated by where they finish in the regular season.
Okay.
But Tampa's not, like,
Tampa's
third place right
third
now.
in their division. So, yeah.
it would probably fall in right around 19 or 20, depending on who else gets knocked out.
Yeah.
Hey, you would love to see Tampa get knocked out and then maybe an 8 seed or 2 advance, because that would help you. Because those Tampa would be ahead of the if a number 1 seed got knocked out. Boston, looking at you. So yeah, it would definitely help. And as much as I don't want Toronto to get out of the first round, just because I feed off those tears every spring. I wouldn't be upset at it this year because it helps out the Blackhawks.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
I don't hate the Leafs. I'm one of those people.
I don't hate the Leafs. I hate Leafs fans.
Yeah.
Well, except the fun ones that pop in here every once in a while.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Just Leafs. All right, I don't want to say fans. That's unfair. Leafs culture.
Yeah, Leafs. That's a good way to put it.
The whole thing of we're the most important team. How does every trade affect us?
Right.
You haven't won shit in 50 years. You ain't that important.
Right. Yes.
That's true.
All right, we're going to play Kyle Davidson for the morning skate here. I see 130 people in the chat. I see 61 likes. That means not everyone has smashed the like button. So smash that like button. We're not getting an extra spin. It's trade deadline time. We gotta ramp things up. You'll get an extra spin when we get to 95.
Ooh,
that's right. That's a big demand. You want an extra spin at the tank wheel? Get us to 95 likes. If we get to 100, I'll give you 2 extra. How about that?
Nice.
All right.
And
let's play.
Do we know who we are back to using for our spins?
We're gonna alternate between the two.
We're alternating. Okay.
See who we like better. All right. Let's hear from Kyle Davidson. This is him before, after the morning skate, before the game today.
Just in our effort to acquire future assets and continue the rebuild and draft picks and prospects are the currency that is valuable to us at this time, and we're able to get some really high valued assets in this trade. It obviously is not easy moving on from 2 good players and players that we valued, but you have to give something to get something, and we're happy with the return.
Have you kind of evaluated the market separately for each of them, and it just turned out that the best fit was the same team for them both? Or
yeah, I think it was a situation where we could have separated them, but we felt that the total value was likely there just to do them together. So it was just easier to make it a combo.
Do you have to weigh what players to retain, and just knowing that you only have so many slots to do that, and just how much that can be valuable in the future too?
Yeah, definitely. It's something we always have to keep in mind, and those spots are valuable. You only get 3 of them at one time, and so it was just run through the process, and it felt like it made sense in this case.
what about the 2 prospects coming back? I guess what was the reason why you wanted those guys?
Yeah, I think we were sending some players out, and we do need some players, and they're players that when provided with a list that we wanted to bring in, and so getting Joey and Pavel will be good. Joey's going to join us here in Chicago. Hopefully we can get him in time for the game tonight, and then Pavel will join Rockford. They're up in Ontario right now, so we'll get them in and hopefully get them playing as soon as possible.
When those draft picks was that by choice, or was that what they were offering? Or?
Yeah, it was probably a choice, just because we don't want to stack too many draft picks all in one spot. It's nice to spread them out, and then it gives you the option to potentially use them as currency elsewhere too. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to make that selection. 2025 and 2026 is a while away, and if there's an opportunity to use them to leverage something elsewhere that's of value to us, then we'll do that. But having too many picks in short succession is probably a little complicated for us. So I think spreading out was something that we really wanted to do.
Going back, I guess, to the Zaitsev trade, depending on one by one here, but to weaponize the cap space and get a second and fourth, I think, back for that, was that pleasing to make that happen? Yeah,
definitely. It's it was nice to be able to use an asset we had in our cap space to acquire, especially the second round pick. It's a really high valued pick this year, and so it was something we were happy to do, and able to leverage the strength of position that we had.
Is that something you might look into doing more for a future trade, or?
Yeah,
Like,
for
more
sure.
topics
We'll
like that?
definitely be open to anything like that. No specific ideas or anything, but you never know when something will come up, and we do have the space to act on something like that. So we'll keep our options open and definitely look at what comes. So.
And then with the Josiah and Jack Johnson trades, what one of those?
Just with Jack, it was an opportunity to bring Andreas in and give him an opportunity in our system and see how he does and how he looks, and then with on the flip side, sending Jack to Colorado is a great opportunity for him to go on another run with a team he's really familiar with in a situation that I think he would really enjoy. So Jack was a great professional for us, good player, and really helped our locker room throughout the year. And so we, when the opportunity came up, I think it was something we wanted to jump at for him.
Were you hoping to do that all along to eventually get him to a contender to reward him for this?
It wasn't necessarily the plan throughout, but over the last couple of days, it became an option. And then when Andreas' name came up, he was someone that we wanted to give an opportunity to here, and so it worked out for both sides, I think.
Where do things stand with Patrick Kane now?
No update there. Just in a holding pattern for now until things hopefully get to a conclusion, but we'll see where that goes.
Has he technically waived his no-movement clause, or how's that?
I think I'd prefer not to comment on that right now. Is difficult decision for Patrick, and right now we're in a holding pattern, so we'll wait until there's something more formal to announce if we get there.
Have there been any other discussions and just moving forward with 4 days left?
Yeah, you're always kind of talking and bouncing things around with other teams, and we'll see if anything happens. But we got a lot of work done the last 24 hours or so, but still a little bit of a lead up to the deadline, so we'll see where things go.
When you signed Domi and Athanasiou, it seemed like it kind of made sense that maybe both of those guys could be deadline things. Is that something that you might look into doing, trying to get a draft pick back for them? Or?
You know what? I think it's just us, remaining open to any ideas that are thrown our way. I'm not, definitely not. We didn't sign them just to be traded, right? We signed them because we liked them as players and we thought that they could contribute and help push a certain style of play, which I think they've done an excellent job at. And it's a business, so we have to do our due diligence. But we'll see what comes. But nothing planned right now.
Do you know when Zaitsev's going to arrive? Or?
Not yet. No, we're still working through. It's a little bit of a complicated visa process coming from a Canadian team, so could be another couple days, but no definitive timeline.
With the cap situation next season, how much is that in the back of your head, knowing that just how, I guess, the hurdles to get even to the floor?
Yeah, not at all, to be honest. I think the one thing that we have in Chicago is we've got a great city, an organization that treats players very well, and so we're always going to be a pretty desirable destination, and so the cap floor is not of any concern to me as we stand here today.
For the rest of the season, it seems like the roster is going to probably be in a bit of flux this week, but how do you plan to kind of sort things out once we get through this to field a team the rest of the way?
Well, we've got some players here that are coming back pretty shortly. I think we'll see how, when we get back to Chicago, the progress, Reese Johnson, Mackenzie Antwistle, and see how they're doing. And then obviously we have to see what happens at the deadline. But, we've also got some really nice players in Rockford that are knocking on the door. And so they deserve an opportunity at some point too. And if we're able to provide them that, then we will do that. But, a lot of time between now and the deadline. It's only a couple days, but I think a lot can happen. So we'll just kind of see how that goes and then go from there.
What have you thought of Cole Gutman since he's come on?
I thought he's been fantastic. Plays fast, plays hard. Took a pretty big hit there the other night, but bounced back in return. He's had a great year in Rockford, and this is a first-year pro, and it's not the easiest transition coming out of college and playing a full year of pro right away, and it takes some time for players to get up to speed. But this late in the year, and for him to come in and have the impact he did, I was really impressed.
How do you balance having those guys here or in Rockford, knowing that Rockford can make a run, and then even some of those junior guys being eligible for the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you, I guess, look at the bigger picture with where those guys should be at?
Yeah, we're always looking at the bigger picture, and I think the one good thing is that our regular season and their playoffs, they probably don't cross over too much, and so if it looks like they're on track to be in the playoffs, and so I don't think that them, getting any time towards the end of the year with us will impact their ability to participate in the playoffs. So, I'm open to having guys come up, and a lot of them have proven that they're knocking on the door and they're close. And so we'd, if the opportunity arises and the ability's there for us, we'd like to give some of them some more shots along the home stretch for us, and then have them back in Rockford playoffs.
Any update on Taze? Is he working out at all?
No update. We're gonna just kind of giving him his time still, and we'll probably get more of an update when the team's back in Chicago.
That was Blackhawks general manager Kyle Davidson, courtesy of ChicagoBlackhawks.com. Lots of good stuff in there. Whenever we have audio quality that good on a topic that important, we're going to share it. Interesting that he said, when asked about has Patrick Kane waived his no moving clause, he didn't say no. He said, I'm not going to comment on that right now. So
yeah,
it's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen.
It's if it doesn't happen, I will. My jaw will break through the floor.
I thought you were going to say you were shave your beard.
No. There's already been one beard bet on this show. I think that's good for one season.
Yeah, we need that guy that hung out at Wrigley Field like in the early 2010s with the "It's Gonna Happen" sign.
Yeah.
We just need him to follow Kyle Davidson around for the next 4 days.
Exactly. All right, we got 90 likes. Come on, 5 more and you'll get an extra spin. 10 more, you get 2 extra spins. But first, Mario's going to tell you how to look dab on the golf course.
Yeah, you know it. Pins and Aces, they have some of the best golf apparel around, and they are, of course, the official golf apparel partner of CHGO and the presenting sponsor for the Big Drive Energy podcast on the All City Network. They have tons of gear to make you look great out there on the golf course. They have amazing polos, hats, golf bags that can be customized, and of course, they have the beer sleeve, the innovative product that allows you to store up to 7 beers right inside your golf bag and keep them cold the entire round, whether it's beers or sparkling water or what else comes in a can? Juice.
Pap.
Or what?
Pap.
Pap?
Pap.
Can of pop.
Pap.
Oh,
You're too
pop.
close to Wisconsin. We call it pop. All right?
I'm sorry, pop. Yeah, sure. Those two. You put that in there and keep them
pops.
Keep them cold the entire round.
Some Italian beef sandwiches.
You might as well. I don't know if you want to keep. I don't know if you want to keep them cold, but
It keeps them warm too.
Keep them insulated. Yeah. I don't know if stuffing the beefs in your beer sleeve is endorsed.
We gotta find out. Just don't get them dipped.
Not sure if that's.
Isn't that a euphemism for something else? Stuffing your beef in the sleeve.
I think it is.
Man, I don't know if that's endorsed by Pins and Aces, but we'll see. We'll check it off this
Come
golf
out with
season.
a beef sleeve. I'm buying it.
Oh,
my
boy.
nickname in college.
Check out pinsandaces.com for all of your golf needs. I don't know if they'll get you your beef needs, but they will get you your golf needs. Use the promo code CHGO. When you do, you're going to get 15% off of your first order, and you're going to get free shipping on that order as well. Again, that's pinsandaces.com, promo code CHGO.
I think I saw Beef Sleeve play the second stage of Lollapalooza back in '96.
Yeah, that was a good show. All right, before I tell you all about DraftKings, we're going to play a little game here. The guys here know the answer to this question, so I can't ask them.
Okay.
Player A has played 59 games, has 18 goals, 31 assists for 49 points.
It's pretty good.
That's player A. 59 games, 18 goals, 31 assists, 49 points. Player B has played 59 games, has 19 goals, 31 assists, and 50 points. Play along at home
It's also not bad.
and tell me who these players are I'm talking about.
One is a Blackhawk.
One is a Blackhawk. All right. DraftKings Sportsbook, you know by now, is the official betting partner of CHGO and All City. They've got the incredible NBA no-sweat same-game parlays. Major League Baseball is here. I was watching balls fly out of Sloan Park today like he was going out of style, mostly for the other team, which isn't great, but it's spring training, so that's fine. Get those totals in, get your home run leaders in, get all those great bets in before the regular season begins. Bet on who's going to win divisions. Awesome. So much stuff you can do on DraftKings. I almost over doubled my money the other night, and now I'm scared to bet my $1.37 that's in my account because I don't want to be back at zero. But I'm going to get back in the game because playing at DraftKings is super, super fun. You can do it too. Download the app now and sign up with code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA with code CHGO. Greg keeps looking at me. I don't have a booger or something. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details.
Side-eyeing.
All right, did anyone get it right in the chat?
No one's gotten it
right.
right.
No one got it right. Okay.
People know that
They got player A down.
the player A is Max
Player
Domi.
A, who has 59 games, 18 goals, 31 assists, 49 points. That is Max Domi. Player B with 59 games, 19 goals, 31 assists, 50 points is
our buddy
Alex DeBrincat.
Our buddy Alan K.
There is a 1 goal difference between Max Domi and Alex DeBrincat.
But I was told we didn't get enough for Alex DeBrincat.
I'm just telling. I'm stating true facts, which are my favorite kind of facts.
So we got. So you're telling me we basically got Kevin Korchinski for Max Domi?
Yeah, sure.
It's a good trade.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we got for the same production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, hockey's a funny game.
I'm not nothing. Look, if Alex DeBrincat wants to come back to the Hawks, he is more than welcome.
Yeah,
But I just think it should be noted how well Max Domi's playing. If I told you on July 1st when the Blackhawks signed Max Domi that on February 28th, Domi and DeBrincat were going to be 1 point apart, you would say, how long was DeBrincat hurt?
Yeah,
right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you would never believe that. So there it is. So that's just something that was really
It's
interesting.
just something interesting, yeah.
Really
Hey, I mean,
interesting.
you signed DeBrincat in the summer, you draft Bedard, you re-sign Kane, and there's your top line, right?
Stop it.
Sure. Yes.
Those are the same type of suggestions you yell at people for.
That's a hat throw if it's in the chat. All right. It is time to do the Tankathon tank standings and then spin the wheel. We've got 98 likes. Really?
Hey, there we go.
We're going to go out like that. We're going to go out like punks with 98
one more.
likes.
99.
All right. One more like and
One
we get a
more.
second bonus spin.
Come on,
Let's go.
people.
All right. I know we're going to do it.
Come on, people know.
In the meantime, let's check the
People
tank
know.
standings.
Is that the song from South Park? Stan Marsh had to make up a song. People know. Come on, people know.
I don't know.
I think
I don't
you're
know.
right. I think you're right.
All right.
Hey,
At 100.
yeah,
Well
there
done.
we go.
All right, here you go.
was
Tank
the
standing
South Park
updates.
reference
Columbus
for
still
sure.
on top with 44 points in 60 games. Anaheim with a big tank loss tonight, 47 points in 61 games. The Hawks third in the tank standings with 47 points in 59 games. San Jose and Arizona are fourth and fifth. So with that, we're going to go back to Tankathon tonight because they actually have their standings updated, which is helpful when trying to correctly spin.
Yeah,
Yes.
usually.
Tankathon.
That is,
Wheel.
accuracy does count.
All right, so we've got 3 spins. All right.
Come on.
If we get to 110, we'll do 4.
Tankathon.
Let's go.
Hey!
Woo!
Welcome back, Tankathon.
One and done.
Chicago, Columbus, Anaheim,
we're
San Jose,
banking 2 for tomorrow's post-game show.
Arizona. There's your
like
top
it.
5. We got 2 banked for tomorrow. Beautiful.
All right.
That is
Post-mullet
great.
tank spins.
That's a lot of fun. Game puck drop is at 8 p.m. tomorrow.
Oh, thank God.
So not as late of a post-game show.
Whew.
Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. And maybe we'll see Nikita Zaitsev one of these days. I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe he never crosses the border. Who knows?
Maybe not.
Maybe he's already been Kim Johnson's.
We'll just let that go. All right. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Reminder, as always, we are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Before we go, reminder, March 1st, Wednesday night, we're going to have a CHGO Blackhawks happy hour. What does that mean? It is a virtual event for diehards only. We're going to be like basically in a Zoom-style room, and we'll be able to bring you on and chat with us for an hour or so on Wednesday night, March 1st. So mark your calendars. More info on that to come in terms of time and things like that in the coming days. But
Might serve as our Patrick Kane trade show.
it very well might. That might be our Patrick Kane emergency podcast.
Yeah.
So we'll see you there, and we'll see you tomorrow night after Hawks and Coyotes on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.